Hello, hello. Heather Steves here today to do the live. I see a few people are popping on. I'm just here a couple of minutes early just to give people a chance to find us. Hello, Ivor. Hi, Sandra. Hello, Linda. Hi, Kathy. Just looking as people jump on and find us. Hi, Vicki. Oh, I see Elle's there. Hi, Tina. Hi, Robin. Today I'm going to be making some ATC cards. Hi, Cindy. Hello, Angelique. Hi, Els. I hope you're having a good time still. It looks like you're still in Banff. So I'm going to experiment a little bit. I've been playing around a little bit before I jumped on. I'm going to do some embossing, but with dies. So hopefully it's going to turn out really well. Hi, Sue. Hey, Cindy. And it looks like lots of people are starting to find us. Okay, so I'm going to switch everything over and we will get started. Let me make sure that I can remember how to do that. Yes, oops, oh, sorry, Allison's still in Banff. Let's do that. Okay, I got a new stand, so hopefully this is gonna work a little bit better and be a little bit steadier. Whoops, there we go, is that? Okay, so you'll have to let me know at some point if I need to zoom in. But I want to be able to show you my embossing as I do it, but then maybe once that's done and it's out of the way, we can zoom in. So I did a little bit of experimenting. So for now, I'm going to use these fancy cutaway dies because these are perfect ATC size, and I'll just show you. So my first idea, I got some like explosion powders from a local store recently because I thought I'd experiment, but the colors that I had really don't go with my theme of today, which is for the ATC prompts. So November was warm tones, so that's what I'm going to be working on today. So these didn't really fit with that, but they still emboss nicely. So this is the soft finish cardstock, and I just thought I'd give that a try. I'm just going to pull up. I just realized I don't have the comments up. There we go. Okay, and then I thought this was fun, this snowflake die, so I was able to emboss it as well. But again, I was just kind of playing with those colors. So those I don't think I'm going to work today, so I'll just set those aside. But then the other thing that I thought I would try was, could I do this technique without the embossing pad that I have that's specifically for embossing with dies? I thought I put some thick foam that I had in, but once I put enough pressure to get enough pressure on the machine to get an impression, it just cut through. So that didn't really work. So I think you do have to have the mat. I will show you the mat in a minute. It's a rubber mat. So that didn't work. But then I did get it to work. So I had just taken some soft finish cardstock. So this is one of the other powders I had. And then I tried some different sprays and stuff on it, and that's where I ended up with this color. But then I decided to put some ink over top of those raised images, and I really like the look of that. So then that led me to my next step, which was to do it on some craft cardstock. So I thought that looked really cool. So this is embossing it with the rubber mat, just on craft cardstock. And then I inked over top of it so that you can see the image. So I like that technique, but then I thought, wait a minute, I bet you that would look really cool with some of David's papers. So these papers are, make sure I have the right one. These are the abandoned papers. So that's what these are, because I had some pieces there, and I really like the way that that turned out. So I am going to play around with that. And then I just did a little bit of experimenting with some different inks and with some fun embossing powder on here. So I have already a couple that I did, but of course you want to see how to do this in case you don't know already. So I have another piece of the abandoned paper, and I'm going to attach my dies. So I think I've already got, I don't know if you can really see that embossing on there, but I've got this one and I've got this one. So I definitely want to use these two. And then I think I'm going to use this circle one again. So let me just get this out of the way. I'm going to attach these down. I like to attach my dies with some washi because I don't have a magnetic plate and they tend to move, because I like to keep things nice and tight, and then I end up with things sliding as I run them through my machine. Hey Karen, glad everybody is joining. It looks like we got a good crowd going on now. Okay, so those are ready to go. I'm just going to open my machine so you can kind of see it on screen here. This is like a Bira machine, so it has a dial. So I don't really change my plates, I change the dial. So right now this is set for die cutting. So I'm going to shift it over to, this is a regular embossing folder, and if I turn it one more, then it goes to a 3D embossing folder. So with just this die, it worked well with just the embossing folder setting. So this is the rubber mat. So this is Sizzix. It's a Sizzix emboss and transfer set. So it came with another pad as well, which actually I think I use that for this too. So this is the other pad it came with. So I put that on there, and then I don't know, is it even going to be big enough? It's not going to be big enough for all three of these. So I'm going to pop this one off and I'll put it on after. So I just set those on there, and then I take my thick plate, right? So this is going to go through. I tend to put mine kind of backwards. So instead of having the thick plate on the bottom, I put it on the top. So I put it over top, and I'm going to run it through here. Let's see if I've got my sandwich right and my settings right. Okay, so I'm going to run it through here. Let's see if I did it correctly. Yes, so you can see that the image is there. Hopefully you can see that on the screen, but it did not cut. Okay, so you'll definitely be able to see it once I start inking it. So now I'm just going to switch, and I'm going to finish running this last die through. So I'm just going to attach that one. Thanks, Anita. I've had this mat for well over a year. I don't know, maybe longer. And honestly, this is the first time I've used it. So it's good to use those things that you purchase with all the good intentions to use. Okay, so run that one through one more time to get that last image. And there we go. So I did consider running through the actual ATC frame die to cut them out, but because I want to mat them on another color, I'm going to cut them a little bit smaller anyway. So I'm just going to cut them with my trimmer. Okay, so I'm just going to set this out of the way for a minute. I may still be going back to it. And I am going to zoom in. It's going to let me, yes. Okay, now hopefully I can stay on screen. I think that looks good, right? Okay, so I'm just going to grab my little trimmer here. And I'm just going to start to cut these out. So I am cutting them, like I said, a little bit smaller than the die itself. So again, it's probably really hard for you to see until I get these inked up. And I'm getting a bit of a shadow, so I'm just going to turn that a bit. So you can see this one. See, I cut it. I almost cut the whole border off. Like I said, I'm going to mat it, so I want to have room around the outside, so you're going to see that mat. So it probably would be easier to trim it after. I did not too bad on getting it even there. So I might just do that. I'll wait and trim them up after. So I'm just going to do some experimenting with these. And I had a bunch of extra pieces, die cut pieces from other projects. So I pulled out a bunch of those, and then I did cut out a few more just so I had some stuff to play with. And I had this nice coppery colored craft cardstock, and I thought it would be really nice as a fall color. So again, for those that joined in after, I'm going to work on the November ATC prompt, which is warm tones. So that's what I'm working on today. So I'm trying to stick with more of those kind of warm tones. So I think what I'm going to do, like I said, I was experimenting. I'm going to take this cantaloupe color, so it's a bit yellow. I think I might grab my craft mat for this. This one should be big enough, just so I don't get too much ink all over my desk. And I'm just gonna, I want the light at the top. So all I did was I just rubbed it along. Right, so that's why I chose these ink pads, because I had these in my stash for a while. I haven't really used them much, but they're a nice little shape, and they're great for just for this kind of technique where you're rubbing onto something. So look at how easy that is, and how amazing that just pulls out that pattern. And then I think I'm gonna go back, blend that a little bit, so I don't need to put really hardly any pressure onto this, because it really picks it up nicely. So there's one, and I love it with the background texture from the paper. That looks really nice. Let's see yeah, I see some comments. So yeah, it's pretty cool technique. I was watching a video online, and that's kind of what sparked this idea. It was a little bit different, but it led me to pulling out this mat so I could try it. And I think it's just really amazing, because it doubles the use of these dies, right? These are great dies for cutting, absolutely. But then you can also use them for embossing, which is pretty fantastic. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do some with just like a solid color, or maybe I'll do something a bit different. See if this is gonna work. So you could use any inks, of course. Like I said, I just chose these because they're easy to hold on to. I don't know if I want to use that brown, do I? Yeah, might as well stick with it. So just playing around with it, and we'll see what we end up with in the end. This is the leaf one. I'm just going to do it all in orange, because why not? Let's give that a try. And then I think I'm going to do this one all in yellow and see what that looks like, because I have one already that's all in the brown. It doesn't look very yellow on here because I'm putting it on a darker background. Okay, so let's just wipe this off. Sorry, those comments go by so fast and then they just disappear. They're still disappearing so fast. Sorry, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video for your chance to win a gift certificate. Okay, so now that I've got those ready to go, I think now I can trim them. So there's the one that I trimmed. So see, now it makes it easier for me to see where that line is. So now I can trim them up, and I can always trim them a bit smaller if I need to. Where's the line there? I should really be able to see what the size is based on my measurements too, because the ATC is 2.5 by 3.5, so I should be making sure that it's smaller than that. So there we go. We should really be closer to 2.25, but I don't think I can quite get to 2.25 because I don't want to cut off the pattern. Okay. This is so fun. I'm so glad I tried this. It was, like I said, it was totally accidental that I put the ink on it. I had not started out with that intention at all. These ones are already partially trimmed. And then if I have time at the end, I have something else similar, which is really the actual technique that I was planning to try. I'll show you what it was. It was actually embossing with an embossing folder and a die at the same time, but it was a bit of a struggle to get that one to work. It's definitely much harder to do, and I think it's very dependent on what dies you have. Okay, so these are all trimmed up. Get rid of that. Okay. So I do want to make sure that these are going to stand out nicely, especially like this orange one. You'll see it's very similar in color to the background. So it definitely needs to be ink distressed so that it stands out better. And see, some of them need to be cut a little bit smaller. So this one is good, and this one I have inked the edge. Anyway, I'll do it again. So I'm just doing it directly. I'm not even going to bother with a sponge dauber because this is faster, and it makes it a little bit darker, more crisp of a inking if you do it directly. Makes sense? You can actually get a lot more distress on it, but I tend to keep it pretty clean. So that one lines up nicely. Let's see, maybe I do need to trim some of these off a little bit more. I guess I should have checked them before I finished. There, that's closer. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Okay, that one looks good. So really simple way to make a really cool background, right? Because what's our time? Like, it's only 1/4 after, and I've already got most of these backgrounds done already. So it's a really quick, easy, easy background to make. Need to get a little bit more off of those sides, I guess. Let's see. So if you really want to get more of a distressed look, you can kind of angle this more. See, and then it's getting more ink onto the front. Woo! But if you want to keep it cleaner, then you want to keep your ink pad more perpendicular to your paper. The shiny paper. It's just something I had in my my stash, Margaret. It's just a craft foil. Okay. So this one, see, I'm just going to keep it more at the edge. And then that just gives me a much thinner and more defined edge on there. And that one looks like it needs trimmed up on both sides. Hopefully I'm not boring you too much with this. Little fiddly bits. And we're going to see how we can turn this into some fun ATC cards. One left. Just take a little bit off one side. I think we're okay. That'll be good enough. Okay, and then I think, I didn't even count how many of these I have. Do I have the right amount? Because I know I cut 6 bases. Look at that, I cut 6. Okay, so we're gonna stick these down. So you saw when I flipped that over, I used the stamp for the back for my label, which I put away. It is, yeah, it's the classic ATC one. So I used that one. I'm pretty sure they come together with the die. So that's the set that I used for the back here. It's definitely important to stamp it beforehand if you're putting it directly on the back, because it's going to be really hard to stamp once I have stuff on top of it. It'd be easier to write now, but I don't know what I'm going to write on them yet. So I just need to make sure that I put them the right way up. So I'm just going to attach this. I just like my tape runner because it's faster. And then the script looks like it goes this way. Oops, that moved on me. My nails are a mess because I had them done for my son's wedding a while ago, and I had actual fake nails, which I've never done before. And I took them off at home, so I kind of destroyed my nails. So a few more weeks, I think, and they'll be better, but they're quite the mess right now. Okay, so there's up, and we'll go with that, I think, for up. Doesn't really matter too much, especially now that I've inked these. You can still see the script, which is nice, but it's not as obvious. So if I put it upside down, it really wouldn't, I don't think, make much of a difference, especially once I finish decorating it. There we go, remembering to keep that the right way up. Come on, it's not moving. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. I don't worry too much about things being perfect. At least in my crafting, I am a little bit OCD, but I seem to be able to let things go a lot easier now when I'm crafting. I don't have an up for this one. I don't think it matters. I think I lost the comments again. Ooh. Okay, where's that one? No, I think we're this way. Doing okay with time. I may not get every one of them decorated because it's a bit ambitious to do 6, but hopefully it will be mostly done. Because I do want to show you what happens if you emboss some other, oh, here we go. There's the other one. Sorry, if you emboss other dies and not just these square ones, because these are pretty cool, but you don't want to limit it just to this. Okay, so there I have a whole bunch of these ready to go now. So let's just pick a few. Okay, let's see what I've got here. So I just have a bunch of things. I cut some of them out purposely, and some of them I just had. These are some leftover tickets that I had. This is from one of the planner dies. Circles that were left over from something. I don't remember what. So I thought this was cool. So I know David's used this a few times. This is like the beeswax embossing powder, which I love and I hardly use. But I thought, oh, this might actually be really cool to use for this project. So I also cut out, so I had this. So this is actually from a different, similar, but a different color, but it's craft on the back and I had cut it that way anyway. So it looks kind of cool. The butterflies, I've got a flower, These little things. I got a whole bunch of little things that I cut. Had a bunch of these circles cut. More circles. And I have a few words here. So I'm going to kind of play around and add them all, I think. A few flowers. Okay, somebody's probably going crazy now trying to figure out all the die sets that I use. So I'm going to show you. Let's see. Okay, so we already got the fancy cutaways, right? So those were the bases. Okay, the ornate butterfly is where the leaf, the feather, it's a feather, where the feather comes from. I have the torn set. This is one of my favorite sets. So the flower is from there. What else have I got cut out? I cut this out recently. Was that for something else? Yep, that was for something else. Never mind. And then this is the Ticket to Fly Free. So I love this one. So that's this funny shape here. I cut out the butterflies. I had this little, the word fly free already cut out. What else have we got? The labels, tags, and more. I cut out the heart. And I thought I cut out this little star. It's in here somewhere. There it is. This little strip with the stars. I cut that out. These little borders, right? That's these little pieces here. I've cut a few of those out. And this is the original ATC set. So it comes with a stamp as well. I cut out the flowers, some buttons. Did I use that die? I have a few of those little dies, I think. I think that's it. And that flower there too. So I've used, at this point, all of those. So it's a whole bunch of different sets that I used. Where are those comments? Okay. So let's just try and play around. Now I'm just gonna, sorry, I have a couple of photos because I did some little playing around just to see what kind of combinations. So excuse my arm reaching across. Just want to remember kind of what I had in mind. So got this one. I thought this went well with this. And one of these tickets probably. Something like that will be nice. And then I've got this one and maybe another ticket. And then I was playing around with these circles because they always come out of things. Like I've cut a die and I've used the outside for something and then I end up with all these inside circles. So what can I do with them? So I need to use them somewhere. I think this bigger one looks better, maybe. And then I had this with it. And then more circles. So I'm just gonna kind of play around with these and then I can start to stick things together. You'll see. Okay, so let's start with these tickets. So I'm just gonna push these up here out of the way for now. We're gonna, I'll jump back so I can see if there's any comments. And where did they go? Sorry. Nope. Oh, Facebook is so much fun. How are we doing on time? Okay. Anyway, comments are gone. Hopefully they'll pop back. So I did also pull out a couple of stamp sets. So I've got CS 314 tickets and CS 352 travel and postage. So I'm probably going to use both of them, but for sure I'm going to start with this one here because I want to stamp this long ticket. Hopefully comments are coming back because I popped out of Facebook there. Now it's not showing me the old comments. Okay. Now, I don't know, you might wonder why I took all of the plastic off because I was tired of having to pull the plastic off. And I put this foam on because that just makes it easier. But also, you can use the foam to put underneath your stamping. So if you don't have like a really nice stamping mat, if you use that underneath, it'll give you a nicer image. So I'm just making sure, because I don't think I've used this stamp, making sure there's no oils on it. So just rubbing that off. And then, what color do I want to stamp on here? I think I just want to use a neutral. So this is my my go-to, kind of like vintage photo. It's just a light brown color. I like it because it's more of a image, or a ghost image, you know. It's just not as bright. There we go. So you really can't see it very much, so maybe it might be better to stamp with a darker one, but I'm going to leave this one the way it is. You can see it. And then I'm going to try with the other one, and I'm going to stamp darker ink, but I'm going to switch my stamp. And I'm going to go with a different one. So I think I'm going to pull out one of these the stamps from this set here. What is that little button? I don't know. Sorry, folks. It's just not showing me I need to chat. Is anybody talking? Am I missing it? It's just not coming up. Or is nobody talking anymore? Which one do I want to use? It's not really going to fill it, but I'm going to use this one, I think. Go with that. No, I guess I've lost the comments. That's what happens when you leave and come back, I guess. Okay, so I am going to use a darker ink. So there's the brown. I'm going to use the brown. Yeah. So just ink that up. And then I'm just going to ink it up again. There, just to fill up the space there. Okay. And so, get this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to edge distress it. So this time I am going to use my sponge. And I'm just going to ink the edges up. So again, I'm just using this lighter brown. I don't want it to, don't want it to be too bright. I just want it to have a bit of an aged look and not to see the white core of the paper. Yeah, I definitely have lost all the comments. I'm really sorry, folks, about that. Where am I at? I'm at 2:30. Okay. I'm just gonna quickly see if I can get this to work. So if I reboot this, it should work for me. I just hate to miss your comments. In case you're asking me something about what I'm doing. There we go. See. Come on. There we go. Okay, comments are back. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so back to where I was. We're gonna do, I just got to decide. Oh, I like that there. So I'm gonna put this on here. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I should do this. Maybe I won't do it on this. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and just assemble these two, and then I'm gonna play around with the other ones a little bit more. This one, I feel like that one needs something else too. Maybe we're gonna go like that, and I think I'm gonna cut that edge off. Oh. Now I'm running out of space on my desk. Such a small little space here. Make sure I get that inked up. And then this is very bright, so I definitely need to darken that up a bit. I'll just grab, what do I want to do with it? Maybe I want to add only thing is this orange is very similar to that color. And the yellow is too. Yellow is more so. I don't want to make it brown. Let's try this. If I do it really lightly, maybe it'll just look kind of cool. So this has adhesive on the back. That's why all the letters are sitting in there so nicely. Okay, let's do that. And then add some of this just to tone it down a bit. It's very bright. I don't want it to be too bright because again, that orange is on the pattern paper, so it's not as bright as putting it on this white. Get all those edges inked up. And then I'm going to just cut the end off there, I think. Now, I haven't done this before, and I'm guessing these letters are going to pop out on me. Maybe not, if I'm careful. Look at that. They're going to stay in there. Nice. Okay. So now we're going to add that. I just want to make sure that I've got that little piece hanging over because I want to cut that off. Oh, that looks pretty cool. So we'll trim that. And ink that edge. Yeah, you can see a little bit, but it's off a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, and then I'm only going to glue down the center, although that doesn't make it easy to put into a pocket. And it will go flat if it's in a pocket anyway, but that's okay. Look at that, got like a string of glue there. Get that off. Okay. And then we're just gonna go like that. There. So that one's done. I like that one. Okay, and then we're gonna do this one. What else am I gonna do with this? I feel like that needs a circle or something. But what kind of circle does it need? That's okay. I better put that pin back in there. So we'll get this inked up. I probably should use the dark though, so you can actually see it. Looking good. Yeah, I am using a standard size ATC. The bases were cut out with the die from the, which set there? Ooh, here we go. From this one. Nope, from the other one. Sorry, folks. Yeah, Torn, that's the one. I cut it, the bases out with the one from Torn. Beautiful colors. Thanks, Petra. Thanks, Karen. Okay, so we'll do that one down below, I think. I feel like I want this to not be so plain. So let's add something to it. If I can find where I put everything, I'm gonna go back to here. I'm gonna use this one. I need a piece of paper. Okay, so good enough. I'm just gonna put a stamp, like this is like tone on tone, so it won't be too bright, I don't think, but I'll just add some interest to that. There we go. There, that's cool. Look at that. Oh, I like that. I really like that. Get that out of the way. Put clean and get that out of the way. Okay, where were we? Here we go. So now I can attach this once I find my adhesive again. Ugh, get on there. Okay. So that's going to go down towards the bottom. And this butterfly goes on there. Okay. And we're gonna experiment some more. And we'll go, this might hang over a bit. It does. Oh well. This will have to just make sure it goes somewhere where it will fit. Yep, I'm still the right way up. There we go. Okay. So there's two, so they're very similar. So let's do something different. Okay, so there we've got this. So this time I need to get this. So I'm going to use this. So I have an embossing pen. Excuse me. This is from Close to My Heart, so everybody knows they're gone. But you can still get embossing pens. What was it? Tim Holtz, Ranger, somebody. I did see them, so they're still available. So this one is just a small tip embossing pen. So I'm just going to color in these little shapes. So I don't want to spend too much time doing this because I don't know how dry this is. So I don't want to end up with it drying out before I get the embossing powder on there. And then I just realized I shouldn't have attached them, but I did, so it'll be okay. Just because when I was testing this, I found that the embossing powder, it's a bit thick, so it blew off. Oh, I missed one there. When I put my heat tool on the front, but we'll make it work. I wasn't sure if the embossing pen would end up moving the ink around, but it doesn't. The ink stays. It's just a dye ink as far as I could tell. I'm pretty sure that's all it says on there. But it doesn't seem to move. I gotta put this down. Although I have a little bit of color on that tip. Okay. Make sure I don't knock any of the others off. Okay, so I'm just going to put that one up there and hopefully I don't make a mess. Put this back in. And let's do this one. Then we can do them all at the same time. I'm going to try just doing the big ones and see if we need to do the little ones. So I hit that little one. One thing I did notice is it's kind of pushing the paper down. That was embossed, but I don't think it's really doing any serious damage. So I missed that one. Or I didn't miss it, I added it when I shouldn't have. I'm just gonna wipe that off. My teeny tiny paintbrush, and we're gonna do the rest of them. Okay, now I have to do this without making a mess. So, I can like feel the paper move when I put the pen on it. I wonder if it's drying up a bit. Maybe not. Oh, it's moving the paper though, that's for sure. I don't like that. That one dug in, made a little hole. Can you see? I think I moved off the screen a bit there, sorry. Okay, let's get that one covered. Looks okay. Yep, it looks okay. Okay, so let's get this back in the jar. I think I made a little bit of a mess here. Okay, so now we're going to use this. See what this is going to look like. Hopefully I don't make a mess because I have adhesive on here. Come on. Ooh, it's hot. Hang on. I need my embossing clipboard. I wasn't going to use it because I was going to heat emboss it from the back, but I forgot and stuck these down, so you just have to make it work. Okay, sorry. There we go. So I just use this because then I don't have to hold it and burn my fingers. Come on. Still think my heat gun is like, the target is off. I can't get that one down there. Taking a very long time for it to melt. Can you see it? This one looks really cool on the screen. There we go. So it is, it's clear embossing, but it's not totally clear. It actually is got a yellow tinge to it, which isn't as obvious on here, of course, because there's color already on here. So it does kind of work like a clear embossing powder. But I'll show you the little other pieces I did. So it does make a little bit of a difference in the color. Just not really obvious. I did everything over here. I think so. I feel like I missed a spot there. Maybe I just missed a spot. Okay. So there we go. So I just thought that was kind of neat way to highlight the pattern on there. Thanks, Margaret. We'll see you later. The embossing powder is, I don't honestly know if it's available anymore. It's Emerald Creek, and it's a beeswax. So I don't know if it's still available, unfortunately. Okay, but you can see. So see this circle and this circle, same paper, but this is the beeswax. So see how yellow it is? So it really kind of gives it an aged look. Okay. So I think I want to do this one over here. And I think I need to age this a little bit. So I have probably a ton of, that's got an awful lot of powder on it. Let's not use that. Has a lot of ink on it already, so I'm probably not even going to ink it up. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of brown on it, so it's probably the darker brown, which is fine because we're using that. It just gives it a little bit, it might actually look really cool with the embossing powder on it. Okay, I'm gonna try that, sorry. Okay, so let's try this. So I have my embossing pad. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this. Okay, see if I can do this without making a mess. Oh, I forgot to put the lid on this pen. I better do that or it will definitely be drying out on me. Just get that all inked up. All over. That should be good. Okay. Oh, put the lid on that. Get this one out again, and we are going to cover this and see what happens. Make sure I get all those little bits in there. Yep, I think so. We'll put that here. There we go. So let's see. I think this might look really cool. Lid. Okay, so this time I'm going to see if I can get this to work from the bottom. Haha. Gotta figure out where my camera is so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So it is going to leave some on my popsicle stick, but that's okay. Let's try to get all the way to the end. So again, because it's brown, doesn't you don't get the same impact of the color. Let's see if I can get this off of here now. Woo! There we go. But I like that look, and you can see that it's not like solid, if that makes sense. There's little spots where maybe it didn't completely have the powder on it, but I like that. I don't want it to be like a really smooth finish. I want it to have that kind of dappled look, if that makes sense. See, maybe you can see it on this one, how it's not like a completely solid surface. So I am good with that. That's the look that I want. Okay, so now we're just gonna kind of play with that. I want to, I don't know, what else do I want to add on here? I feel like it needs some light. Where did that other saying go? I'm good at things disappearing. Oh well, we'll use this one. I know I had another one somewhere. It's buried underneath everything. How are we doing? So we're almost done. So we'll put this together and I'll see if I can quickly show you one more thing. Go like that. I just wanted to show you what my original idea was. Nope. I may add something else later. We'll see. Who knows? Because I do still have more to finish. Go like that. Oh, look, I put it on upside down. It's not sticking anyway. But it's very glossy. It'll just wipe off. Shiny on shiny. I might need to use something else to stick this down. There we go. Let's do it this way. And then at least it will stick on the paper at the bottom. You can feel little bits of embossing powder everywhere. Okay, I am quickly running out of time. Okay, so there's one more, and then I'm going to quickly show you this, because this is where the idea came from. So, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, and I'm just looking, what have I got here? Oh, here. No, that's already in. Sorry. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna go with this and this. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this on here. Now I'm going to turn my dial so that I'm on 3D embossing. And I pulled out a couple of embossing folders that are thin. So these are quite thin. I'm gonna try this one. So this is just a wood grain one. So I gotta take the piece, these are the raised bits. So I'm gonna go like this, on here, with that die there. And now I'm gonna run it through my machine and let's see if it'll work. There's not a lot of pressure, so may or may not have worked. Whoa, sorry folks, got caught on the cord. So it didn't work great. It gave me the impression from the snowflake, and you can maybe see a little bit of the snowflake. So it's not perfect, but this was where the idea actually came from. Now they didn't use ink or anything, but because there's so much more pressure on the die, it made the embossing on here really, really thick. And then the embossing on the embossing folder is quite thin. So I just wanted you to see that. I did do it with another piece as well. So I put the little feather through, and then I just inked the outside. So this was a different embossing folder, but it was a bit thick. So it was a little bit harder to use. I'm losing my voice. Anyway, I will post these. I will put some pictures up of these, and then I will finish those other ones a little bit later. But I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you'll experiment around with all of the dies that you have as well. Everybody have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see everyone again soon. Bye-bye.